Ever booked a trip, got super excited, and then life happened? Maybe your plans changed or something unexpected came up. And now you're stuck wondering, can I even cancel this Airbnb? That's what we're diving into today. Because let's be honest, travel plans aren't always set in stone. Things change. And knowing your options when it comes to canceling an Airbnb booking can save you a lot of stress and maybe even some money. Now, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, it's important to understand that Airbnb isn't like a hotel chain with a standardized cancellation policy. Each host sets their own rules. This means the answer to "can I cancel?" isn't a simple yes or no. It's more like it depends. Think of it like renting an apartment versus staying in a hotel. Hotels often have more flexible cancellation options, especially if you book directly with them. But with Airbnb, you're essentially dealing with an individual host, and their policies can vary significantly. So, where do you find these all-important cancellation policies? Well, there are a couple of key places to look. The first is right on the listing page itself, before you even book. Scroll down to the Cancellation Policy section. It's usually located below the description and amenities. This is your first line of defense. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with the terms before hitting that Book button. The second place to check is in your booking confirmation email. After you've booked, Airbnb sends you a confirmation that includes all the details of your reservation, including the cancellation policy. It's always a good idea to keep this email handy, just in case. Now, let's talk about the different types of cancellation policies you might encounter. Airbnb offers several standard options that hosts can choose from, and understanding these is crucial. First, we have the flexible policy. This is the most lenient option. Generally, you can get a full refund if you cancel at least 24 hours before check-in. This gives you a good amount of flexibility if your plans change at the last minute. However, remember that service fees are typically non-refundable. Next up is the moderate policy. This is a bit stricter. If you cancel within 5 days of check-in, you'll get a full refund, excluding the first night and service fees. If you cancel after that 5-day window, you'll be charged for all nights booked. Then there's the strict policy. As the name suggests, this is the least flexible option. For a full refund, you usually need to cancel within 48 hours of booking and at least 14 days before check-in. If you cancel after that 48-hour window, you'll be charged for all nights booked. And finally, some hosts might have a super strict policy, which is even more restrictive. These policies are less common, but they do exist. It's essential to read the details carefully if you encounter one of these. Now, what happens if you need to cancel and your situation doesn't quite fit within the host's cancellation policy? Don't despair just yet. There are a few things you can try. First, contact your host directly. Explain your situation and see if they're willing to make an exception. Remember, you're dealing with a person, and sometimes a little communication can go a long way. They might be understanding and offer a partial refund or allow you to change your dates. It's always worth a try. Secondly, if you booked through a third-party platform or used a travel agent, contact them for assistance. They might have additional options or be able to negotiate with the host on your behalf. Another thing to consider is travel insurance. If you have travel insurance, it might cover cancellations due to certain unforeseen circumstances, such as illness, family emergencies, or natural disasters. Check your policy details to see what's covered. It could be a lifesaver in unexpected situations. Now, let's address some common questions people have about canceling Airbnb bookings. One frequent question is, what if the host cancels? If the host cancels your booking, you're entitled to a full refund, including service fees. Airbnb will also try to help you find alternative accommodations. Another question is, what if the listing is misrepresented? If you arrive at the Airbnb and find that it's significantly different from what was advertised, you should contact Airbnb immediately. They have a guest refund policy that might protect you in these situations. It's also important to remember that Airbnb has a resolution center where you can communicate with your host and try to resolve any issues. This can be helpful if you're having trouble getting a refund or if there's a disagreement about the cancellation. Let's recap the key takeaways. First, always check the cancellation policy before you book. Second, contact your host if you need to cancel and your situation doesn't fit the policy. Third, consider travel insurance for unexpected events. And finally, remember that Airbnb has resources to help you resolve issues. Canceling an Airbnb booking can seem daunting, but by understanding the policies and knowing your options, you can navigate the process with greater confidence. Remember to communicate clearly, be respectful, and explore all available resources. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.